Hello, how are you doing? We are doing Hildibrand Dawntrail, and let's get started. Why, hello there, your core. How serendipitous that we should cross paths in this far-flung nation. Have you come all this way to lend me a hand? Because let me tell you, I could use the help. You see, I've been doing my absolute darndest to track down the inspector ever since Mr. Poo-Poo's starship whisked him off to God's only knows where. My best lead turned out to be the Thavnerian truth. Eyewitnesses' accounts in the latest issue described a shiny craft headed west across the ocean, so I packed a few things and headed as far west as I was able. This is where I ended up. I've made a few inquiries since my arrival, but I've mostly been acclimatizing myself to the native cuisine. Very important step that. Anyway, seeing as fate has sent you to assist me, I suppose it's time I continue questioning the locals on the matter of unidentified flying gentlemen. Here, this should help in our investigations. It's an illustration of the starship, clipped from Dorian's publication. Having this on hand should make it much easier to explain what we're looking for. I'll ask around the markets hereabouts. As for you, well, I've yet to venture beyond the food stalls, so practically anywhere else but here. If you learn any useful information, come and find me around this spot. I'll be stuffing my ears with delicious intelligence. It's the Landsguard's duty to remain vigilant for and unusual developments that may warrant intervention. It may be prudent to visit Brigade Ground Post and question the soldiers. You should know that picture to the city guards and ask if they sighted anything somewhere. Wrong way. Yes, is there something I can help you with? Actually, I have seen a vessel like that. It was some time before Zoro Jaw's flying ships appeared. I watched it limp northwards through the skies above Toliola, wobbling about like it might crash to the ground at any moment. Searching for a single ship, you say? Yes, I saw a flying disc just like this during our patrol in Sholeon. It was slowly drifting towards the ground and seemed to come down somewhere near Solani. If you're determined to find it, then that's where you should try next. What were they calling the place that's covered by the dome now? Heritage found? Oh. He might have been stuck in the time thing. My forays into the stalls bore no fruit at all, none star-shaped anyway. How was your harvest then? Those are some leads. Nice work, yo. So, by the sounds of things, the ship was malfunctioning and eventually came down somewhere to the north of here. With any luck, this hostage found you mentioned will be the place we find the inspection. I think you mean heritage found. Well, with you as my escort, I'm sure we'll arrive at the right spot eventually, and none the worse for wear. Shall we head off? Oh, there he is. The air is all crackly and zappy. This is where the starship supposedly came down, so let's start our search for the inspector. Standard investigative procedure dictates that we question the residents for possible gentleman sightings. Off we go. Ah, this man could be a potential witness. Oh my. Just getting off on electricity. Didn't expect that. This is a small settlement, and its inhabitants are known to me. If a man of such distinctive appearance and demeanor were among us, I'm sure I would have noticed. Perhaps he's wandering around somewhere inside Solution 9. They have so many more people, he could easily go unnoticed in the crowds. You were here at Queen Fiend's guest, as I recall. If your companion wishes to enter the city as well, then I suggest you make arrangements with the sentry at the tower entrance. Oh, Solution 9. That sounds promising. Thank you for the tip. Visit. Excuse me. Visitor detected. Verifying access rights. Unlimited Everkeep access confirmed. Scanning unregistered visitor. Warning, warning. Explosive device detected. Entry denied. I'm not carrying explosives. This is medicine for treating Inspector Hildibrand's condition. Explosive medicinal compounds. Error. Does not compute. It's really quite simple. Inspector Hildebrand was sucked up by Mr. Poo Poo's malfunctioning starship, after which it proceeded to drag him thousands of miles away from and deposit him here. Ergo, you need to let me pass so I can blow away its brain cobwebs. Error. Logic circuits overloading. Emergency shutdown initiated. Huh. It must be nap time. I guess we can just go in. Core, that's a good sized city. Well, there's one sure way of locating the inspector in a place like this. If there's an ongoing case, then that's where he'll be. Let's head to the lively part of town and look into any nefarious incidents, shall we? Do we know which part is the lively part? True view, and that's in the eastern sector, you say. Right then, let's get to it. What, like a crime? Now that you mention it, I did hear about a theft recently. Our city is peaceful and by and large, but anywhere you have a lot of people, incidents like these are bound to occur. Despite the recent robbery, the residents of Solution 9 are law-abiding folk, or so I'd like to think. A case, huh? I've heard of an odd squealing creature of some sort, but I don't know if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Odd creature. Leaves rather a lot of imagination, doesn't it? I wonder what they meant by squealing. Recent troubles? I saw a pair of soldiers mobilizing not moments earlier, responding to a disturbance it seems. I don't think it was far from here, but I'm a bit hazy on the details. Sorry, I can't give you any more specific directions. I also heard about the theft. Something was stolen from a nearby tavern, apparently. I got directions to the scene of the crime, so let's head over together. The thief absconded with an aged bottle of spirits, the most expensive one in my establishment. I demand you find this criminal at once. No need to get all hot and bothered. The culprit is right under your nose. Okay. Admit it, punk. You pinched the hooch. Me? But why would you think, with the supply of souls cut off, folks with the habit have turned back to black market rackets, and luxury goods of dubious provenance is one way of paying the asking price. A top shelf bottle of juice would make for a fine trade, I'd say. By the by, you know there's a method for identifying contraband souls? Your regulator logs will tell the tale. Don't want to let us check them? Be my guest. I took a gander at the cabinet where the bottle was stored, and the lock showed obvious signs of tampering. Electro-picking tools are awful hard to handle, aren't they? Most amateurs got singed, but you got scorch marks all over your mitts. Give it up, kid. We've got you dead to rights. After they suspended soul provisions, I couldn't stop worrying about the future. It was a moment of weakness. Save it for the authorities. Take them away, boys. That was the Inspector Hildibrand, wasn't it? He didn't sound very gentlemanly. He must still be in shock after the starship's crash landing. A healthy dose of Nashu's delights will put him to rights. Let's make absolutely sure it's him first, shall we? I suppose that would be the responsible course of action. Come on, we should hurry along before we lose sight of this ungentlemanly Hildibrand. You walked that way, or was it more of a mosey? Not what I expected. He looks like the inspector, but a touch old and mopey. "30 years passed inside the dome. Then if Inspector Hildibrand was here when it happened, that would put him in his 50s. He must have been living here so long that he's forgotten everything about his previous life. Luckily, I have just the thing to jog his memory." I think I wouldn't notice such an obvious tale. I don't know what your game is, but bombs ain't toys. Best put them away before you hurt someone or yourself. Like me, I see neither of you are sporting regulators, so I suggest you be more careful with the only lives you've got. "Sir, don't you remember us? You're Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, gentleman inspector extraordinaire." "I've been called a lot of things, but nothing so insulting as a gentleman." I'm a weathered old fool with too many debts and regrets. Detective hardly boiled. Of course. Very impressive, but even with that name and those odd clothes, you might as well be the inspector's older, more wrinkled twin. Hard to break it to you, but you're barking up the wrong tree. You seem awfully fond of those hard-boiled eggs. Here's this one on me. Thanks, dollface. You're a peach. Oof, that's one way to cure a hangover. You got me good. Maybe we really do have the wrong person. That indestructibility is awfully Manderville-like, though. It might be someone who shares the same soul as Hildibrand. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I can see that you're not who I thought you were, and that we need to keep searching. A missing person, is it? If that's the rub, you can leave the sleuthing to me. Oh, we could really use your help. By the sounds of things, this fellow looks a lot like me. What did you say his name was? Hildibrand? I'll find him, don't you worry. I can feel a hunch coming on already. Are we sure that isn't this inspector? I'd like to rush off and do some investigative work of my own, but this city still has my head spinning. I think I'll wait to see if this Detective Hardy-Boiled is as good as he seems. Meanwhile, you should get back to whatever it is the famous adventurers do when they're not embroiled in one of our fantastic old cases. The dame had me looking for a needle in noon-lit haystack, a city with algae to sleep. The twin of mine had well truly lost himself. The trail was colder than the ice on the bottom of the glass. But I could still smell air, like cloying stench of perfume, a conspiracy. Stay tuned for further episodes of Detective Hardy-Boiled. Amazing. The inspector has finally set foot upon the dawntrail. Get ready for inconceivably further Hildibrand adventures. Who knows what his case will be this time? When it happens, whatever happens, you'll be there on the scene. Detective Hardy-Boiled has taken the case of the displaced inspector, so for the moment we wait and see what he digs up. I'm sure there'll be plenty for us to do when the clues start to pour in. Wow. I've never approached a Hildibrand quest that wasn't already finished. This is cool. Alright. I saw something at... Wait, was it Rat's Hand? No, it's Turiolo, the Wandering Minstrel. I want to talk to him before I close this out. Yeah, that reminds me. Some days ago, I had the pleasure of meeting your good friend Gratia. He approached me, wondering if he had seen me elsewhere before, and so I told him about my endeavors in verse. Taking an interest in my work, he invited me to join him in Axplavtia, where we discussed tales of heroism over tacos and churrasco. 'Twas then that he shared a story that is especially close to his heart. The fellowship of Noah's foray into the Crystal Tower. You played a vital role in it, did you not? Together with more than a score of your fellows, you triumphed over numerous formidable foes to secure the structure. How do you recall the experience, pray? As adventurers typically work in small groups, I dare say it quite different to be part of a large contingent. I just played it by ear. I do favor such an approach myself. Now I can only speak as an observer, but I imagine it must be uniquely satisfying to sally forth as a member of a great collective to accomplish tremendous feats, and to defeat the dreaded cloud of darkness in a tremendous feat indeed. Is a tremendous feat indeed. She is a ruler among her kind, occupying the highest rung of the hierarchy of void sent. Full oft has she left her mark upon mankind's history, not least of all when she forged a pact with Emperor Zande, and according to record she employed powerful magics like the likes of which defiled mortal comprehension. Didn't she use beams and more beams? It may well be that you saw merely one aspect of the cloud of darkness. As I understand it, void sent are changeable beings, their forms dependent on factors such as the aether at their disposal. Another time, and you may have faced a somewhat different foe. 'Tis an intriguing possibility to consider. Would you not agree? So, together with your comrade Rhine, you gave rise to a being based upon the cloud of darkness, a familiar yet distinct entity shaped by your combined impressions of the void-sent queen. That gives me an idea. I shall compose a song about the true cloud of darkness as I imagine her, from which I shall draw inspiration from your account. Without further ado, when light and dark as one become, to oblivion all to cast, a champion dauntless shall arise to cleave them at last. Into their hands entrusted be the hopes of all mankind, upon the wind eternal born, a bright and shining sign. The time is come to go forth unto the battlefield. The final confrontation looms that tests your blade and shield. Though it may pale in comparison to facing the cloud of darkness, it gave me great satisfaction to compose these verses, and should they give you satisfaction as well, what not would please me more. Okay, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next patch. Peace.